Welcome to Week 8. It's Fantasy Baseball Weekly. I'm Amber Wilson. In a minute, we'll bring in our senior fantasy baseball analyst, Eric Mack, to bring you up to speed with the latest around the major leagues. Week 7 is behind us, as well as our first session of interleague play. And let's take a look at some of the guys who tore it up last week. Jorge Posada leads the American League in hitting so far in 2007 for the struggling Yankees. 3 home runs in Week 7 for the Yanks backstop. He's up to 6 for the year. Brandon Phillips has a 22-game hit streak going on for the Reds. David Wright hit 2 home runs Saturday in the Subway Series. Johnny Peralta is up to 10 home runs and looks to have returned to form after an awful 2006. Ichiro had 15 hits, all singles in Week 7, and hooked 7 bases. He had only 5 coming into the week. He's currently on a 7-game multi-hit hitting streak. Hunter Pence is hitting .364 with 4 homers and 16 driven in since getting called up by the Astros. And Dice K won a couple of starts in Week 7, going 17 innings and striking out 11. As for the players not getting it done in Week 7, Brian Schneider of the Nationals picked up only 1 hit the entire week. He's batting .222 on the year with only 1 homer. Lance Berkman hasn't homered in just about 2 weeks. The outfield looks like a who's who as Alfonso Soriano returns to this list for us. Just 4 hits in Week 7 with no homers and 1 RBI. Barry Cito got shelled in his return to Oakland. His last 2 starts, 10 innings, 13 runs, and 10 walks. While Derek Turnbow, who had been so solid out for the Brewers pen up until just recently, lost 2 games and blew a save while giving up 5 earned in just 3 innings. There are 8 teams in the American League with 20 wins through the first 7 games of the season. 4 of those teams hail from the AL Central. With the American League representative in the World Series coming out of the AL Central the last couple years, the power and depth of the league is clearly tilted towards Middle America. The one thing in common with all these teams is starting pitching. With teams like the Yankees, Toronto's, Texas trying to solidify a 5-man rotation, the top 4 in the Central seem to have a glut of arms they can send to the mound, which could create some interesting situations as we near the All-Star break and these 4 teams vie for 2 postseason bursts. First, there's Cleveland and Jeremy Sowers. He went 7-4 a year ago, and the Tribe looked to him to hold down a spot in the rotation. But Fausto Carmona, after losing 11 straight decisions over 2006 and the beginning of 2007, is now 5-1 with a 2.5 ERA. And Jake Westbrook should be back in the mix pretty soon, so Sowers could very well be the odd man out. The 2006 AL champs were dealt quite a blow when Kenny Rogers had surgery to remove a blood clot from his pitching shoulder, but he's already thrown off a mound and could be back sometime in June. And right now they've got 6 guys already who are throwing well as starters. We all know that Robertson and Verlander aren't going anywhere, but what about Chad Durbin, who's 3-1 on the season so far, or Mike Maroth, who hasn't lost this season yet? And the Twins are without Francisco Liriano for 2007 and are the latest team to give up on Sidney Ponson. But the front end of their rotation is as good as anyone else's, and with the addition of Scott Baker, who went 8 1/3, shutting down the Brewers in Week 7, along with Matt Garza and Kevin Slowey waiting their turn in AAA, Minnesota seems to have plenty of options. And we welcome in senior fantasy baseball analyst Eric Mack to the program. All right, Eric, taking a look at the AL Central rotations and keeping in mind how competitive that division is, how are things going to shape up in the long run there? Who should fantasy owners trust to keep in their lineups?
Well, I say it all the time. It's best to trust a winner. It's not good to trust a loser, right? The Indians and Tigers have the best lineup of the bunch, so their pitchers, even the struggling ones, are the best sleepers. Sowers might be out of a job soon, but he's a control and command lefty. Those types are notoriously slow starters. There's a real nice buy opportunity on Sowers. The problem is Westbrook's not going to go anywhere, and Adam Miller is going to arrive eventually. We'll have to wait and see with him. But as the other Miller, Andrew of the Tigers, he'll be sent down for returning Jeremy Bonderman, but he'll certainly be back too. He's too good to hold down. Chad Durbin will be a long reliever once Rogers can return, while Miller will be waiting for an injury or a slump by Maroth. You have to like the Indians and Tigers' chances to win with whoever they throw out there. With the Twins, it's a little less intriguing with their lineup, but Garza and Slowey can be sleepers for you down the stretch.
Okay, so there's some young pitchers in the American League getting their chance. A hitter in the National League getting his first shot of the season, Jeremy Hermida. Owners have been a little cautious about Hermida, though. He's only owned in 46% of CBS Sportsline fantasy leagues. And Eric, I know he's one of your guys. Is he here to stay?
Well, I've been saying that to anyone who will listen the past 12 months. Hermida is finally hot and a must-add in deeper leagues immediately. This is one of the best outfield prospects in baseball, every bit as good as Jeff Francoeur in Atlanta and Nick Markakis in Baltimore. We always mention those 3 together in the same breath because they are Georgia outfield prospects with similar talent. They all came up together. Francoeur has made the most immediate impact, but you can flip a 3-sided coin on which will be best long-term.
A 3-sided coin?
I got nothing.
Right.
Paper, rock, scissors, whatever.
I don't know where you're going with that one. All right. That'll do it for us for now. For everything you need to know in the world of sports, keep your mouths clicking right here on CBSSportsline.com. But don't forget to come back Thursday when David Ganas will join me for our Fantasy Baseball Weekly Planner Show. But for now, if you missed anything here today, stop, refresh, and rewatch. For Eric Mack, I'm Amber Wilson. Have a good one.